Hello friends, let's talk today about the organ and sacred music and Catholic sacred music. So I know that other religions and sects use the organ as their instrument, but usually not just the organ. Now the Catholic Church today also does not use just the organ. It's not the usual thing to do anymore. But yet the law of the Church only quotes the organ as the instrument of the Church, of the Catholic Church. And why does the Church have chosen the organ? The organ can sustain itself and its sound. It's not like the piano or the guitar or something like that. When you play a chord, you can sustain it, so the organ sustains itself without the need for me to play it again and again and again, for me to attack again a note or a chord. It makes the sound ethereal. In some sense, it represents the eternity of the core of angels. So the organ, the instrument, also simulates the voice, the human voice. So the organ has some qualities that makes it a different instrument. It was made and developed in the Middle Ages and yet before for the sacred use. It was not used in the beginning for the sacred, but it was taken by the Church for the sacred liturgy. And it was developed to the sacred liturgy. There are limitations that we need to be aware of. Pope Pius XI have talked about this in his document Divini Cultus Sanctitatem, which everyone should read. So, when we use the organ to make the accompaniment for the Gregorian chant, we use it not just for the benefit of the cantors, the singers, because they are singing and they need a guide sometimes for their melodic line, for they not to commit some minor errors or gray errors, for example, changing tones and stuff. So the organ helps the choir to maintain the chant without losing it. And it also gives us the harmony. It kinda completes the affections of the melody. The melody in itself is perfect in itself. Saint Pope Pius X has said that the Gregorian chant alone is the supreme chant of the Church. It's the supreme music of the Church without accompaniment. The accompaniment helps us to understand the affections of the soul. Saint Robert Bellarmine says that for the part of the faithful that are weak, which is us, the organ helps us to meditate and to be to have attention, to understand the text more, and to incline ourselves more in the direction that the text wants us to. So here we have the Mass Orbis Factor, which is the Kyrie 11th. And we have the Kyrie, the 9 invocations of the Kyrie. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Christe eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. The first 3 Kyries are the same. The 3 Christe are the same. The 8th and the 9th invocations, the Kyrie eleison at the end, they are equal to the first 3 invocations. But the last one, the 9th invocation, the 7th and the 8th invocation are the same as the first, the 2nd, and the 3rd invocation. The 9th invocation is different than the other ones. We're going to go through that in a minute. If you want to learn that, I'm a Gregorian chant and an organ teacher, so just go in the description of the video you have my contact. You can talk to me. Well, I'm gonna play it now. Just the melody, and then the organ with the melody. And you're gonna see that the melody in itself expresses the fullness of the affections of the text, what it represents. It's a rogation that we make to God. It's the Kyrie is a supplication. It's a rogation that we make to God, triune God. That's why we say 9 invocations, for him to have mercy on us. Let's go. Kyrie eleison. That's the first 3 Kyries, the melody. Now with the accompaniment. Kyrie eleison. Let's do it 3 times. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. So here I'm using D minor, F major, G minor, C, and D minor. Those chords, they are intrinsic in the melody. When we hear the melody, A, B, A, G, A, T, we have D and A appearing. That's why we have this D minor. Then the melody just rounds over this A, but the main note here is A. Then it develops in the eleison. All the eleison are the same. It develops with F, G, A. Then we have F major. Here we have F major. Then we have B flat, A, G, L, D, D, C, D, D. In this part, because we have a descendant scale from B flat, we can use G minor in the chord, the accompaniment. When we go to C in the melody, we go to C in the chord, then we rest in D minor again. So every chord that we use is related to the melody. It's related to the melody. It needs to better express the melody. That's the function of the accompaniment. It is for the singers to have a guide, but it is for the chant to have a better comprehension. So it is for the use of the faithful. Let's go to Christe. So Christe, we have A, G, D, C, D, C, A, G, A. Then the chords we have C, D minor, and F, Christe. The eleison is the same. Eleison, Christe. Once again, Christe eleison. Then we go to the last Kyrie. the last three invocations of the Kyrie. The first two, the seventh and the eighth invocation, are the same as the first Kyrie, but I did a change here. I do use in the beginning the Kyrie. So why do I use G minor in the 11th, in the 7th and in the 8th invocation? Because I want to make it be more tense. It is the path of the soul. It starts praying. As the soul prays, the soul goes deeper in the praying. So here I want to express that by adding some tension in the 7th and 8th Kyrie. Then we're going to see rest in the 9th invocation. So just pay attention to that. The 11th and the 8th invocation first, with that G minor expressed with a bar in the beginning. Why? I use those bars to express in which note of the pneumatic element I need to play that chord. So in the podatus, I need to play that G minor in the second note of the podatus, so in the B flat. And on the 9th invocation, Now, what have I done differently in the 9th invocation? It sounded different if you notice. Again, just a Kyrie. Right there. So that melody is the same one that we hear in the Christe. But a fifth below. G, F, D, C, D. It's the same melody, right? But here we have a G major in the chord, and that's what makes it different. But why do we have D major? Why did I choose that D major, that G major here? If when B appears, it's always flat. It's always flattened. Because the mode that we are in is the mode 1. Mode 1 has all the modes can modulate the B, to be flat, to be natural, right? So sometimes we can use a modulation, we can present that modulation in the accompaniment, even though it does not appear in the melody, to clarify something that the melody seems to show. Let me just play the melody, and you will hear that when we go to that G, we have that sensation of major because of because we're going to from D to G. That point kind of elevates the affections of the Kyrie. Kyrie. You can use a G minor here for sure. But it has some tension to it. And that G major expresses the particularity of the mode 1 with that B natural, because it represents the major sixth, that is the characteristic of the mode 1 and 2. I just chose that G major for it to represent with it represents better, I think, the affections of the chant. Kyrie. Let me just go there. Kyrie. The lesson is the same. All right. So the same thing about the B and B flat, B natural and B flat, we can see in the Gloria, right? I'm not talking about the Gloria now, but when we hear just the beginning of the melody, Gloria in excelsis Deo, even though we have the minor sensation, right? Because we are in D minor, kinda. Gloria in excelsis Deo. We kinda hear also that triumphant ascending. Gloria to G, right? So here I chose to use D minor for the beginning, for the first note, then G major, then B flat major, because it expresses that triumphant ascending, right? Because we're going from the fourth to the sixth major and major, to the seventh major, then to the first the minor first, right? So we have major fourth, major sixth, major seventh, and minor first. And that gives us that sensation of ascending that the melody suppose, right? So those are some aspects of the accompaniment for the melodies of Gregorian chant that we must be aware of. We need to better express the affections of the soul, the affections of the chant for the soul, right? For the soul to understand properly the how it should interpret that text for that day in the liturgy, because it changes, right? If we take the Angelis, for example, it's major. It's clearly major. So it's a different sensation for a different liturgy, different days in the year, right? In the liturgical calendar, right? So I hope you enjoy that conversation about how the organ represents and how it functions in the liturgy, how it expresses that affection of the soul that we search for with the chant, and how it potentializes that affection, right? Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Send it to some friends of yours. And if you do enjoy it and want to learn more about the organ, please contact me. Thank you.